Hare Krishna. So we read today, it's Sunday. So every Sunday we always read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, and we're in the Adilila, chapter 9, verse number 43. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda So the title of the chapter is The Tree of Devotional Service. And I really like to mention every time, as long as we are in this part of Chaitanya Charitamrita, I really like to mention every time I speak on this, that Srila Prabhupada, this book, which contains the chapter 7 to chapter 11 of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, that was the first part of Chaitanya Charitamrita that Srila Prabhupada translated. He didn't start, when he started the translation of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he didn't start with chapter 1. He started with this 5 chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and they are very special. He was asked to give the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he entered in this part of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, where we have Lord Chaitanya and 5 features, that's the Panchatattva, and then we have how this whole order to write Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now we are in the tree of devotional service, where we have this whole tree, which came from actually from Lord Chaitanya, but it even went back 2 generations to Madhavinda Puri and Ishvara Puri, the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya, and then to Lord Chaitanya. And from Lord Chaitanya, we can see how this tree of bhakti, how it expanded, and how it, one big trunk was Lord Nityananda, one big trunk was Advaita Acharya, and when we are reading in this chapter, we will find that Srila Prabhupada, he's including ISKCON as also one big trunk of this tree of bhakti, so tree of devotional service. So this chapter is like a really beautiful. There is not one place in this chapter where you cannot feel the mood of Lord Chaitanya. How he is lamenting that he is only one gardener, and how he can alone, he cannot taste all the fruits of bhakti alone, but he can also not distribute the fruits of bhakti alone. So in this chapter there are many verses where it's all about actually how bhakti, there's this symbiosis between tasting the bhakti and then also giving it to others. That it's actually when you read this chapter, you can understand you can actually not really taste the bhakti if you don't give the bhakti. So there's a whole, it's very wonderful. So we have one verse now. It's verse 43, and we will read it. Praninamu pakaraya yat evaha parat. Kannst du das lesen? Can you read it? I don't have the melody. Yeah, I also don't have them. Jaya Jaya. Praninamu pakaraya yat ev. You can read it. Yes.
Praninaam upakaraya. Okay. Praninaam upakaraya.
Okay.
Yadevaha paratracha. Karmana manasa vacha. Tadeva mahimam bhaje.
Oh, that's nice. Praninam upakaraya yat eveha paratatracha kamana manasa vacha tat eva matimam bhajet. Okay, you.
Praninaam upakaraya. Yat eveha paratracha. Karmana manasa vacha. Tadeva mahimam bhaje.
Nice. Praninam.
Praninaam.
Of all living entities.
Of all living entities.
Upakaraya.
Upakaraya.
For the benefit.
For the benefit.
Yat.
Yeah.
Whichever.
Whichever.
Eva.
Eva.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Iha.
Eva.
In this world.
In this world.
Or in this life.
Or in this life.
Parata.
Paratra.
In the next life.
In the next life.
Cha. And.
And.
Karmana.
Karmana.
By work.
By work.
Manasa.
Manasa.
By the mind.
By the mind.
Vacha.
Vacha.
By words.
Words.
Tat. That.
That.
Eva.
Eva.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Matiman.
Mahimam.
An intelligent man.
An intelligent man.
Bhajet.
Bhaje.
Must act.
Must act.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. By his work, thoughts, and words, an intelligent man must perform actions which will be beneficial for all living entities in this life and in the next. Purport. Unfortunately, people in general do not know what is to take place in the next life. To prepare oneself for his next life is common sense. It is a principle of the Vedic civilization, but presently people throughout the world do not believe in a next life. Even influential professors and other educators say that as soon as the body is finished, everything is finished. This atheistic philosophy is killing human civilization. People are irresponsibly performing all sorts of sinful activities, and thus the privilege of human life is being taken away by the educational propaganda of the so-called leaders. Actually, it is a fact that this life is meant for preparation for the next life. By evolution, one has come through many species or forms, and this human form of life is an opportunity to promote oneself to a better life. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Yanti deve Vrata devan pritiyanti pritivrataha. Bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti mam jajinopi mam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship ancestors go to the ancestors. And those who worship me will live with me. Bhagavad Gita 9:25. Therefore, one may promote himself to a higher planetary system, which are the residents of the demigods. One can promote himself to the Pritiloka. One can remain on earth, or one can also go back home, back to Godhead. This is further confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 4:9. Chakva deha punanjanma naiti mam eti sojuna. After giving up the body, one who knows Krishna in truth does not come back to this world to accept a material body, but he goes back home, back to Godhead. This knowledge is in the Shastras, and people should be given the opportunity to understand it. Even if one is not able to go back to Godhead in one life, the Vedic civilization at least give one the opportunity to be promoted to the higher planetary systems where the demigods live and not glide down again to animal life. At present, people do not understand this knowledge, although it is constituted a great science, for they are uneducated and trained not to accept it. This is the horrible condition of the modern human society. As such, the Krishna consciousness movement is the only hope to direct the attention of intelligent men to the greater benefit in life. The verse again. Praninam upakaraya yat eviha pachacha kamana manasavacha tat eva matimam bhajet. By his words, by his work, thoughts and words, an intelligent man must perform actions which will be beneficial for all living entities in this life and in the next. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Jana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtabitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, as mentioned, this chapter is called the Tree of Devotional Service. And in this verse, Lord Chaitanya, he is speaking, and he is saying by his work, by his thoughts, and by his words, an intelligent man must do something which is beneficial for others. It's not enough just to use your work, your thoughts, and your words only for yourself. It's very clear that some giving has to happen in life. You cannot just live and produce and think and interact with people only for your own benefit. That's not enough. And then the second part is that it should be beneficial for others, other living entities, in this life and in the next. So that means even if you're working for the benefits of others on a material platform, that's not gonna work according to this instruction. Because if you're just giving charity on the material level to somebody, it's not going to help them in their next life. So the only thing that is going to help in the next life is if you give them some spiritual process, some spiritual benefit. So this is a very deep instruction because for us, when we have come to this path, we also want to figure out how to do it in the best way. It's not that we come to Krishna consciousness and we just do the minimum to get by. That's not what Srila Prabhupada is recommending also through the chapters, through the purports in this chapter. It's like we should reach for the highest, the process of bhakti, but we should even elevate that process of bhakti by giving that process to others, by sharing the process of bhakti. So Srila Prabhupada, he is being very strong in his words in this purport on the modern society, and he's even saying they are educated to not accept. How was it he was saying this? That was quite strong. I don't know if I find it. I don't find it, but it's obvious that the philosophy which is taught through the educational system and throughout the whole society, it is there to educate people to not take up spiritual life, to not elevate themselves. It's only meant for elevation. Srila Prabhupada was very challenging when he spoke to university students, because he said, where is the department of the soul? You have so many departments of knowledge in this higher educational institution, but where is the department of the soul? Where do you learn who you are? What is the meaning of life? There is some, actually many universities, they have some kind of department of philosophy or there is this, and fortunately, Srila Prabhupada, because Prabhupada, he interacted with some of these professors, so they got very respectful and inspired by the authority with which Srila Prabhupada was presenting his books. So some of Srila Prabhupada's books became standard texts in the universities. So what a glorious thing. So there was no department of the soul, but whatever little department of philosophy there was, Srila Prabhupada, he managed to enter these departments, and his books became books which are there now in many different universities. They are standard books in philosophy. So that's very wonderful. So something is happening, but still people are not educated to prepare themselves for the next life. They're educated just to be as successful as possible, materially speaking, within this life. And then the education is also that you kind of like become really attached to whatever you have. And this is like the opposite in the Vedic culture. What is happening when you age is that after some time you have to come to a certain realization that you need to give up things. You need to let go. Everybody who has children know that after some time the children, when they get like over 20 years old, even older, you're still attached as a parent to the child. But uh, uh, after some time, you just have to let go. They are their own person. They make their own decisions. You may not agree to what they're deciding, but there is there you have to let go. And the same thing with all your position, maybe even your job. After sometimes you have to retire from maybe that job had been like 80% of your time was invested in building a career or a special, become expert in your field of work. But when you get older, you will renounce that. And um, people in the material world, when they renounce their work, many of them, they don't know what to do with their life, because they don't have the spiritual alternative. What is a grihasta doing? What is a householder doing who has been working and who know the Vedic knowledge? When he retires from work, his whole spiritual life is like turned up. There is more chanting, there's more study of scriptures, there's more traveling to holy places. His whole life become really surcharged with spiritual activities. Maybe he is not in great health, but he's using whatever energy is there just for spiritual enlightenment. But that the materialists, they don't know this, and uh, they just lament. They just lament. I remember when my father, when he stopped working, he he did something I think practically nobody is doing. He went to walk the Jakobsweg. This it's like more than 600 kilometers. You go to foot, and you come to Compostela de something down in Spain, which it's like a pilgrimage walk you do. And this is like recommended in the Christian tradition, that you walk that to get free of sins. It's like it was what it was in the beginning. It was like this kind of walk where you could, if you do that, then you get purified. You do that walk. So he was doing that walk, and he was saying, I will do this walk, and then I will find out what I will do with the rest of my life. And then it took like 2 months, this walk, and he did this walk. And when he finished, and he came here to visit, I asked, so did you find out what you should do with the rest of your life? Now you're like spiritually enlightened. You have walked this pilgrimage. And he said, I didn't find out what I should do, but I find out all the things I should not do. So at least some realization that the rest of the life should be used for not this. He didn't want to repeat many of the material things that he had been doing before that. So I thought this was very interesting. And into his end of his life, he walked that pilgrimage 11 times. So he did. Yes, so he did, and he came with me to Vrindavan and Mayapur, and that was very nice. But generally, people are not educated. How to prepare for the next life, how to grow actually in a spiritual way. They're not educated. They may not even believe that there is a reaction, and that you, Srila Prabhupada is saying, at least you should, at least, Jai Shri Shri Radhamadan Mohan Ki Jai. At least if you, at least if you have some kind of enlightenment, you can avoid descending to the animal platform in the next life. But that people don't even know. So we're very fortunate. We have Srila Prabhupada's books. We can read, we can absorb, we can even understand these transcendental subjects because Srila Prabhupada has presented them in such an easy way to enter. So we are very, very blessed. I wanted to mention that Astarata Prabhu, he left his body yesterday. Yes. Yeah. So more than 50 years ago, Astarata Prabhu, he was the main pujari for Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan. Actually 56 years ago or something. He was the first person to worship the small Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan. And when the bigger deities were installed 50 years ago, he was also there. And he was following the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, because in the beginning of the Krishna consciousness movement, we did not have much knowledge how to worship the deities. That was like something completely new for the devotees. Especially in the Western culture, there was no worship like that. You see in the churches, what is there? There's a cross, there's an altar with some candles. There's nothing. There's no personality. Yeah, there are maybe some icons of Maria or some. There may be something, but it's not worshipped like the deities are worshipped. They're not. It's not like taken personally. It may be cleaned and dusted like on a regular basis, but there's no offering of food. There's no worship going on like known for. So deity worship was a very new aspect for the devotees. And Srila Prabhupada, he told the first devotees who started to worship deities, he told them, you should go to Vrindavan, you should go to the Radharaman temple, and there you should learn from the pujaris who are there. And Astarata Prabhu, he did that. He went and he learned from the Goswamis in the Radharaman temple, and everything we have in the worship of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, it all came from that initial. You may go to many ISKCON temples. It is very, very rare that you see the lamp. I think it has like 13 sticks on. We have a lamp. You know, when you do the artik in the morning, like the greeting of the deities, there is one lamp which has lots of sticks, like long sticks, not small giwiks, but long sticks. You practically never see that. Even Radha Madhava, Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram temple. Yeah, but you see like normal giwiks, but you don't see these sticks. But this is very special and unique to Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, and this came from Radharaman temple. The sticks are representative of the gopis, and it's a very intimate kind of worship when you worship with this kind of lamp. And this, I mean, the silver lamps which are here, and this, all the silverware, everything which is there, all came from Astarata Prabhu having direct, following Srila Prabhupada's instructions and taking all of these items and using them in the worship of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan. So this is a very, very unique. We have very unique worship, and the shilas which are on the altar, they were all personally picked by Astarata Prabhu. All of the Shila, except the Govardhan Shila, which came much, much later, came like in recent time. But all the Shilas which are there, he went to the Gandaki River at the foothills of the Himalaya. Yes, and when when you meditate on a certain form of Krishna, and then you dive in the water, then you take out that form. So he came back with all of these shilas. so they are worshipped like that, and everything there, the lamps, the whole altar as it is, it all came from that very, very dedicated devotees' worship of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan. So we are very grateful how he established this worship. And until yesterday, whenever there was something with the deities, we would always kind of like say, ask Astarata, because he is, I was trying to figure out the history of the Gornitai deities, like 2 years ago, and we were like, through another devotee, I was asking, can you ask Astarata? He has to tell, but since yesterday we don't have that line anymore. We cannot ask Astarata because he has left yesterday on a very auspicious Ekadashi day. Hare Krishna, yes. And devotees were there. Even our High Vyasadev, he went to Slovenia. So Astarata Prabhu, he got the garland of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan just 1-2 days before he left, and personal cloth from the deities and like that. So there was always a connection, and there is still a connection. Everything we do here, Krishna, he actually, the one devotee in Vrindavan who found the Gopinath deities. I don't remember. What is his name? Madhupati? You know that, Kishori. Who found the Gopinath deities? She's on here. Right. So this devotee, Krishna, he also appeared to him personally. And he said, oh, please stay in this personal form in front of me, so that I can have my relationship, my personal relationship to you. So Krishna said, no, I cannot do that. This is Kali Yuga. I cannot do that. But you go here and you will find my deity. And then he went, and then he found, I think in the bushes, or he was just there next, he found the deity of Gopinath, which is there. It was in Vrindavan first, and now it's in Jaipur. But Krishna personally said, it's Kali Yuga, I cannot stay. In Dwapara Yuga, I could be personally there in my form, but in Kali Yuga, I cannot. I am there in the form of the deity, and I'm there in the form of the holy name. So these are also forms of Krishna, where he's personally there, and you can have have a relationship. You can interact with the deity, or especially with the holy name. Krishna avatar. Kali Kali Nam Rup, Krishna avatar. I have come in the form of my holy name, in this age of Kali. So, but also the form of the deity. So this is Krishna personally. And Astarata Prabhu, he certainly understood that, and he worshipped Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan close to 30 years. So, so this is very special day, yesterday, that he left. And as long as the worship of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan go on, he will always be remembered and cherished. And he definitely was a person who did live for the benefits of others, for this life and for the next life, like Lord Chaitanya speak about in the verse we just read. Okay. Maybe there are some questions or some comments.
So where did he leave the body?
In Slovenia. He had like a small temple there. The bodies surrounded with the bodies there. Yes.
I mean, again, to the point where it's mentioned, Krishna doesn't want to be in front of us personally in Kali Yuga. Any specific reason why in the rest of the yugas he's there personally, but any specific reason why in Kali Yuga he's not present? Of course, he's present in the holy name and in the deity form, but any specific reason why he don't want to?
No, the people wouldn't be able. I mean, even in Dwapar Yuga, there were so many persons. Krishna was there right in front. You know, Shishupal, Dandavaka, all of these crazy persons. You know, they were highly educated. They were even known in the Brahminical culture to have knowledge. But when Krishna was in front of them, they just became so envious, you know, they couldn't accept him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna, the Kali Yuga is a very degraded age. We don't need to look far to see how degraded this age is. People they're not, you know, it's so rare that you find one person who just yesterday I had this one person. I was in Govinda selling things, and there was this one person, and he said, "Nah, I don't drink the coffee with the caffeine. You know, we sell that there. There is a coffee with some caffeine inside. So he said, I don't drink that because this is not good for my meditation." How many persons come to that conclusion? You know, I shouldn't take any drugs because it's not good for my meditation. And then he had been studying theology and other things, so he knew different traditions, and he also had the Bhagavad Gita, but he didn't have a Bhagavad Gita with purpose. He didn't have Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. He told me, you should read one chapter of the Bhagavad Gita every day. I said, and then next day, the next chapter. Next day, I said, yes, that is very good, but that's not so easy when you have the Bhagavad Gita with the purpose, because the chapter is like 40 full pages. To read that in every day, one chapter is not so easy. You can read the verses that you could do, but so I said, and he said, I don't have a Bhagavad Gita with purpose. I said, oh, then you should get one. And then I run to my car and I get him the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, and he took it. He gave a nice donation. He took a Bhagavad Gita. So, but this is so rare. You find one person like that who is just, you know, people that are just not interested in spiritual life. They have no interest at all, and they don't know that what they are doing. Like he was saying, I don't take the coffee because it disturbs my meditation. How many people are saying like that? Nobody's saying like that. You know, and this is just what to speak of the animal slaughter and you know, everything which is just completely sinful and degrading. It's completely normal for people. It's just normal. You know, they don't even question. Therefore, Krishna, he's the most pure. We have to understand there are qualities about Krishna which are the purity, the refinement, how refined he is in his emotions. He cannot tolerate what we think is normal. He is much refined for that. So he is not there personally in his transcendental form as the Supreme Personality of God. He is there as the Super Soul in the heart of. Yes, and yes. Lord Chaitanya, he came. You know, he came. Krishna came as his own devotee. No? So she is right. He came, but this is also very special because this happens just one Kali Yuga in one day of Brahma. there are many yuga cycles. The cycles go through many yugas, and one time in the day of Brahma, Krishna comes personally, and in the Kali Yuga after Krishna's appearance, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appears. See, you have to see, this is the lamp. You see, these kind of lamps, I mean, you know, nowadays you can go and see the worship in all the temples all over the world. You never see this.
I've not seen this.
Yeah, and there are 13 sticks, and I think we have one with 9 or one. We have two or three different ones. We have one also only with 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this how in Vrindavan worship?
This comes from the Radharaman temple. Radharaman temple, and there you will also have you don't have like kirtan during the arting. You just have a bell, dong 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 dong. You know, it's very special, but yeah, this Astarada Prabhu, he was like the whole instrument who made the worship of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan so very special. And even the minister of the deity worship, who come here, not often, but like maybe one every third year, or he has been here many times. He says this is like some of the best worship which is there in the Hare Krishna movement. So Astarada Prabhu, he put his whole heart and soul into making Krishna available through the worship. Right? That why is the deity present on the altar? Why, when we come here and we take darshan of the deity, why is Krishna there? Why? It's, you can try and answer. Why is Krishna there?
I mean, again, as you mentioned, he's not personally there, but again.
No, he's personally there.
Yeah,
Here he is personally there. The form that Krishna came in front of this devotee, I forgot his name, Madhupandit. I forgot the devotee who found the Gopinath deity. Where Krishna, he personally appeared in front of him and saying, in Kali Yuga, I cannot be there personally, so I will come in the form of my deity. But the point is, Krishna, he is personally on the altar here because he is worshipped with love and devotion. It's an exchange which is happening. All the devotees who are worshipping the deities and who are here.
So just to give us an opportunity to serve him personally.
Yes.
Then,
Yes.
Like again, for the visiting devotees, it's like the seeing the Lord personally. I mean, some benefit will be there. They're not realized completely.
No, yeah, and especially devotees who come here. This we see on Sundays. Often guests are bringing gifts. This is very, very, they come with these big amounts of flowers and bags of rice and, all kind of fruits and flowers and grains. Yeah, they bring gifts. That's very beneficial. Krishna, he is there for our benefit.
Yes.
So he has come in this form, but he is especially there because devotees take so nice care of him. So, and Astarada Prabhu, he was very instrumental in establishing the worship of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, which is very extraordinary. The worship here is very extraordinary. It's very beautifully done. And the generations, all the generations. I mean, we have Vasudev Prabhu who was personally trained. He was the head pujari when the deities were on the farm, and he was personally trained by Astarada Prabhu. So we are very close to the original worship of the deities. Something else? Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Chaitamita ki jai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol.
Ich muss mich entschuldigen. Ich hatte eine Fahrt zu machen,
Alles gut.
zum Bahnhof zu fahren. Jetzt wollte ich nur ganz kurz fragen, weil wir wollen morgen auf Sanktan fahren. Und hätte ich gefragt, ob du, weil wir schaffen es nicht,